Okay. We're online now. Just need to get the link here. So I can post this. My announcements page. There we go. Got that. Okay.
I'm back.
Welcome back. We're now live. Okay. So yeah, today's just another world building stream for the world that my book's in.
Okie doke.
Problem is that surprising even to me, last night I finished the map that I was planning on finishing on stream. So I am even more so than last week. I don't know what to do on stream, as concretely because this map was my white whale for the last month to get it done.
Yeah.
And everybody on stream, you can see, yes, all of the town names are now labeled. All the towns, every one of them, all 411.
All of them.
All of them have labels. All the nations have labels. I'm not gonna label the seas or the rivers or the mountains or anything like that, because fuck you. Not doing that. So yeah, we're kind of we're done with that process. So I'm thinking about could either finish doing the flags that we started last week, because there's still what is it? 2 that don't have flags, 2 nations that I'm planning on having flags that don't have flags.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's so we got 2 of those flags that we need to do. Then and then last week, did I do this on stream? No, I didn't do it on stream. Right, I didn't. Hold on. Me and Midge worked out all of the ranks. All of the enlisted ranks for the army of the protagonists. Oh well, that actually that does. Well, we'll just do this. Makes it easier. Specific and let's take off the grid. This is what we came up with. We did this all verbally last week, and I went ahead and made them all visually without knowing what I was doing, just so I could have it visual. I think I sent you a... Yeah, no, I did just send you the image
Yeah.
there, so the enlisted ranks are done. Now I guess the only other ones we really have to do are the commissioned officer ranks. I have to figure out how they're going to be represented. Because that's one of the only other things I can think of to do for this stream, other than writing. So this is gonna be a lot of trial and error today.
Yeah.
Because I am not that good. And for some reason, this is very loud, this audio. There we go, that's better. Kick it down a notch. Had the Stellaris' soundtrack going.
Yeah.
Some of those tracks can get kind of loud. But yeah, do you have the stream up, Atari?
Not yet, hold on.
Okay.
And there we go. Yep, stream's up.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So I'm guessing what we'll have to do today is just the officer ranks, and I guess for reference, because I said this last week, but you weren't here last week, Atari, and some people out there that watch this in the future or are watching now might not have been there. Ranks are displayed in a fairly set areas of the uniform, and that's the forearm sleeve, the upper arm sleeve, shoulders, and collar.
Yeah.
So you got to make a choice when you're trying to create a military as to what that's going to be, how that's going to be displayed, and I think you know, because I think I've said it. I'm planning. I want to go with collar ranks for officers, for commissioned officer ranks.
Yeah.
So we got to figure out how to display ranks on a collar tab, and the shape of the collar tab and various colors and things like that, because those are all very important aspects of ranks.
Yeah.
If anybody doesn't know that. So right now, I think I've gone with, it's on screen. I've gone with a slanted rectangle. This shape has a name, but I don't know it off the top of my head. It's not a trapezoid. It's something. It's some sort of regular polygon. But I've forgotten the name of it. The thing is, okay, I fucked up with that. I fucked up this. This already. But I'm going with with this shape, I think, for the collar ranks, because I think that makes sense. And it gives me some control. I don't know. It makes it look more interesting visually than just a standard rectangular shape.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just gonna go with that. Uh, but now I need to find a way of distinguishing between the various ranks. And for reference as well, I came up with the rank structure. Okay, you are not supposed to be italics. For some reason, you were. For the rank structure from the enlisted up. We did the enlisted last week, so right now we're at a fairly common. I guess there's nothing really too out of the ordinary here, except for the fact that lieutenant and junior lieutenant are in the kind of the same area hierarchy.
Yeah.
So I guess it would be more apt or equivalent to like a student lieutenant or a trainee officer and the lieutenant, instead of having two delineations between a first and second lieutenant. Is kind of the only major real difference. That, and also the inclusion of a field marshal, which is not too common in modern militaries.
Yeah.
But these aren't necessarily modern militaries, so it kind of works out. So I need to come up with the... Really, Duke? Really? I swear, every time I get going on recording, he's just got to be a... he's got to do that. But yeah, I got to come up with a... I guess the first thing would be the junior lieutenant and what his rank's gonna look like on his collar. And how to display that. So, and this is where world building comes in play, because now I need to come up with an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So right now I've got the shape of the collar tab, and I'm thinking of having, I guess, a delineation between an interior color and like a border color. But I don't know if I want that to signify anything. Because I already came up with that on the... It doesn't come off because they're all the same, but in the enlisted officer, or the enlisted ranks, there's like a little color pipe, or a little colored piping on the bottom of the sleeve.
Yeah.
And in my head, that, along with probably some colored piping along the front seam of the jacket, would indicate branch of service.
Okay.
Or, well, I guess branch isn't the correct one, because there are multiple branches, like Navy and Army in this military. So I guess maybe sub branch, cavalry, artillery, general staff, infantry, that kind of display. Very like Wehrmacht, because that was a thing. And the Wehrmacht was the piping on the edge of the rank insignias.
Yeah.
Indicated service specialty, I guess, is what it was called then.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I want to do the same for the officer rank, by having like the exterior of the collar tab being a specific color. What are your opinions on this? You've been very quiet.
So color generally, yeah, I like the idea of the different color, especially with piping. I mean, my expertise in terms of military insignia is more British, and so piping isn't really color differentiated with British service generally. It's more the type of, especially in like naval based ranking. It's more about how many threads you have, how many, and then all the stars and stuff like that. So it's a little bit different what you're going with, especially with like the Wehrmacht influence there, which I kind of like.
Well, for
I would be
reference, because it might help you a little bit more. Just kind of get a like footing of what I'm talking about, and just in terms of like culturally, the nation that it's based off of is kind of like a mix. It's a fantasy. It's fantasy, so obviously there's no true one-to-one. But in terms of like language, there's like a delineation between north and south of the nation, where the more south you go, the more Germanic the language and culture becomes, and the more north you go, the more French.
Yeah,
it becomes, with kind of like a mixing point in the center. So that's where I'm trying to draw a lot of the rank and kind of influences from, is between those two nations. Which is where I got sub-lieutenant from, because sub-lieutenant is a French rank. Well, it's not specifically French, but they do use it. But yeah, that's just for reference, so you kind of get a bit of footing there. Seriously, Duke, I'm gonna put a squirt bottle to you. He's got the zoomies today or something. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I've got to come up with the. I like the piping idea. I think the piping on the rank works. I think it works. So, now the question is, how am I going to represent that? I like the piping. I like the solid piping around here. So yeah, I guess we'll keep the exterior part of the rank. You think it should be wider, like more pronounced on the badge, or do you think this thin line is, like, let's say Black's general staff or something?
Yeah. I think keeping it thin works, because it's just, you want it just thick enough that you can quickly recognize the color. But you don't want it so large that it overwhelms the rank. So maybe a little bit larger than what it is, like a little bit thicker, just as that you can very quickly, that snap recognition of the color and be like, right, okay. And if you're aware of how the ranks would be, you can very quickly identify the service of whoever it is by a glance.
Okay, let's.
But not much thicker than that.
Okay. Well, I can adjust it. This is all like a drawing program, so it's not hard to do everything. So shrink area. So I had that on 5 pixels around the edge. So let's bring that to, I don't know, 10 seems like a lot, but let's do 10 just to see how big it is. Okay, it's not. Then we got that. I'll clear the selection. So like, and give it some time to catch up on the stream. But we got that in terms of thickness on the piping. A 10 pixel difference there.
Yeah, that's much better.
Okay. So now the next question is, well, hold on. Next question is, we're just going to save as Algan. Officer rank. Blank. We'll save this as a blank, and then add the ranks on top of it as we go. Now the question is, how would we represent a junior lieutenant in an officer rank? Because there's internationally, I'm familiar with U.S. ranks, obviously, and some continental European ranks. So like the Germans use shoulder boards. with like different devices on the boards to represent the various officer ranks. The U.S. uses pins. Well, it uses iconographical ranking. So a lieutenant is a single silver, or a single. Is it gold? No, it's. I actually forget what a second lieutenant is. My first thought was silver, but I think silver. Let's see, it's silver, right? I'm going crazy. I've been looking at so many ranks. U.S. United States. I'm looking it up. United States. It's a single gold. Right, butter bar. Yep, I remember now. It's a single gold bar. Vertical. But this isn't technically... I guess a junior lieutenant wouldn't technically be a full-fledged officer rank. It'd be a... Or it could function as a... Well, let's get into world building. So let's say the... Like a junior lieutenant, that could be somebody who's like in an officer track, who's been given command authority, but is more like a what's the word I'm thinking of? Like there's the option for the senior enlisted to take over. Yeah. If it's considered necessary. Due to his experience, so it's a rank, but it's also it's almost subservient to the most senior enlisted as a rank, nominally, if but not officially. Just, well, now I think about that, that is kind of second lieutenants in a nutshell there, but
yeah,
okay. So how to represent that on a collar tab. Let's say this person's we got black piping, so we'll just keep it black because of blank. So it's black piping. I think the off-white interior is good. What do you think? Because it's on a blue, it'll be on like a blue field because it's the enlisted ranks that I sent you before. Like that's the blue is the uniform color. So it'll be on top of that.
Yeah.
I mean, now that I think about it, I could actually just go ahead and make this. Screw it, we're not going to go that far. Okay. So we got this on top there. So how are we going to represent the rank? What would be easy to spot? Because it needs to be quickly discernible that this is a junior lieutenant.
Okay, so with British ranks, we have especially with the household division, we have something called ensign, which is basically a second lieutenant. They have one pip, which is the little star-like thing. And then full lieutenants, or or first lieutenants, they have two. Cadets do get something depending on the service. Like with the Royal Marines, people are immediately commissioned even whilst in training, but generally it's just like a red tab symbol for cadets or those that are in training. But if you want like a junior lieutenant, that would be equivalent to our second lieutenant. So if are you looking to go with like British style pips or what? Some sort of
at this point I'm not
symbology.
At this point I'm not sure, because it depends on who you're drawing from, because neither of the nations that are kind of drawing culturally for this nation, you in real life use iconographical rank insignia for the most part. Well, at least one does, because the French do use little icons that are placed on their boards, while the Germans have more of a 3D little device that's put onto the shoulder board to represent it.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to okay, we have the enlisted ranks here, and these are and this is what the enlisted look like. So if we're doing proper world building, then these have to work with the officer ranks. So there is no, I mean, I guess you could consider this iconography, the various different bands across the forearm representing rank.
Yeah.
But it's very simple. So it has to, rank on the collar tab has also got to work with that. Like it has to be naturally okay, that goes into this kind of without feeling too artificial. Like it would feel really artificial if we just started putting in complex knot designs on this, or super stylized icons. I think that's what I think. If I looked at that, it looked like they came from two different nations or two different worlds in a way. So we have to work something out through kind of artificial or evolution. Essentially, we have to artificially evolve this from beginning to end to figure out where we're going. So
again, if you're looking at
there's a lot of options.
There are options. What you could do is a combined thing where you have something similar to the PIP system with the British military, but have more of a simplified design, and then combine that PIP with bars or lines as you got with the enlisted to represent more senior within, say, that segment. Because we use the PIP system up to captain, where captain has 3 pips. So what you could have is a PIP with 1 bar, PIP with 2 bar, 3 bar. Then it goes from a PIP to, with ours, it's a crown. Well, you could change that to another emblem design, and again go back to the same bar system you got for the listed, and that represents seniority within that group. Because from lieutenant to captain, we consider those junior field ranks. The major, lieutenant, colonel are senior field ranks up to colonel. Brigadier technically is badged as a field rank with having 3 pips in the crown, but is technically a junior staff rank. And then you have the generals, where it's a sword, and then seniority is represented by a pip above a sword, a crown above a sword, then it's pip and crown. So it's a similar thing where you could have, say, the lieutenants are bunched together with a specific emblem to represent a lieutenant, and then you count the bars to represent what rank of lieutenant they are, and perhaps the captain shares that as well, because lieutenants are technically, throughout the militaries, is because they're left tenancy of the command by the captain. So effectively, they are junior captains. So you could consider it that way as well, and then go along as you do.
What if? Okay, I have an idea. Well, I have possibly an idea. The sub-lieutenant, although in technical military speaking, it does hold the same pay grade as a if we were using pay grade, because I've got all the ranks organized by pay grade of U.S. Department of Defense, because it's what I'm used to, except for the lieutenant Cs, because these are split between O1A and O1B. I would say the junior lieutenant's kind of even below a second lieutenant or a junior lieutenant, or even below, not junior, a sub-lieutenant in the British.
Yeah,
it's it's almost like a third lieutenant. It's a trainee officer who's because this is an early 1900s style army, so I could definitely see them utilizing some sort of my brain immediately went to like on the job training, but you know what I mean,
Yeah.
like you're out of candidacy school or you're out of the war college or something, but you need field expertise before you become a full lieutenant. So it's kind of, so we could say like the why not just have and see if this works, like why not have the lieutenants, the junior lieutenants have just the collar tab with no iconography in the interior.
So just the service color.
Just the service color and the field empty.
I would say that to me immediately screams cadet.
Cadet.
Like, and it would be, although you got the service color on there, it's not really jumping out that they're beyond a basic private enlisted serviceman who has no iconography. It's just the colored pips. There has to be something there.
Well, in this army, my idea was that there is no collar tab for the enlisted. Their icons are just the sleeve icons, and a basic soldier or trooper has just a military jacket. He has no ranks or any type of thing on him. So I was trying to go with something that's equivalent for like the basic rank, because
what I'm saying is, although you got the color, you're saying you got the color tabs, your color is only going on the piping, correct? What else is going on the collar tab for your junior lieutenants? Is it the same color as the rest of the uniform? Because if it's just piping on the collar, what I'm saying is it just lost.
Like what's displayed here, this off-white on the interior.
Okay, so that that would jump out then on your main uniforms are blue, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, it's like
so okay, that's fine. Yeah,
like
that would jump out. I was a bit worried that you was just having colored piping and nothing else to really separate it. No, that would work.
Just some sort of like, it's just a blank tab. That's a junior lieutenant. He technically holds rank, but is still somewhat subservient to like the sergeant major or I forget what's the top rank, be the platoon sergeant or master sergeant. In this setup. So we'll say that. So why don't I go ahead and save as rank. Junior lieutenant. Save. Okay. So now we actually have to work on lieutenant, the first actual rank.
Yeah.
So I gotta think, because it's got to be expandable.
Yeah, so my suggestion would be to copy what you would have on the sleeves. Have like an emblem of some kind. It could be as simple or as complex as you like. Have it on the right-hand side, that assuming that this is like the right-hand collar. You know, the furthest away from the edge of the collar. And then, as I said, as you go up the lieutenant ranks, add in a bar. You know, a distinct colored bar.
Well, this would be the left-hand collar. Like the top part slants. The top part is the one slanting like away from the seam.
Yeah.
Is what it is. So this would be left. So it's like this would be the left hand one, and that would be the right. So that would be, okay. So
so the emblem would be the furthest away from the front of the collar, basically, and you could mirror it if you wanted to have them both. You know, both sides of the collar reflect the rank. All you do is you put the emblem furthest away from the edge, and the bar's the closest to the front edge.
Right. Okay, so could go with something very simple, because most nations have very simple junior officer rank structure.
We have diamonds. That's it. It's just a diamond with some fluting.
Yeah,
basically.
I could go with something. I got like an idea. The only problem. Okay, so what's the color of the rank gonna be? The color that's used in the enlisted is like a maroon, or like a deep red. But I'm thinking, would that feel too enlisted for an officer to want to wear that color, or would they prefer to go with something a bit different? Could go with like a silver. Silver might work. But I think I'm already using a silver for the interior. I am. We'll switch that up so that's an actual off-white instead of just a silver on the interior of the collar. Save that. Okay. Maybe that's not defined enough. I'm not sure. 'Cause currently I've got I'm thinking like a triangle. But I'm not sure. I don't think that color is defined enough from the background.
No.
Oh, I need to. Because that is a silver, but I can't do metallic. I could do metallic.
White on silver is terrible. It needs to be.
So
yellow would represent gold, and gold would make, or at least some sort of golden metal, which would make sense if you're having a white field, because white also represents silver and heraldry.
We got that. Give it a minute to catch up. That's not a gold. That's more, well, I guess it is kind of a gold. It's more like, that's the color I used for the enlisted ranks, and I decided that was going to be a brass, like they had brass buttons, or
that'd work as well. They're having it brass.
Yeah. Because it is a post-revolutionary state as well. It's like a post-French Revolution state. So I'm trying to stick away from royal connotations with a lot of things. So we can say like a single triangle would be like a full lieutenant.
Yeah.
A single triangle, full lieutenant. Okay, we'll save that as. LT. Okay. And then after that is a captain who would have 2, is how we'd work it. And given the fact that I've got this all set up with a grid, that's easy enough to represent. Two gold or two brass triangles would be a captain. I guess that works just as well. Yeah.
I'm just going for a quick smoke here.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's the general idea. Seems pretty good. And as I said, if you wanted to, you could add bars in as well to sort of tie it together with the nested.
I was going to do 3 triangles for a major, and then a junior colonel would have maybe a top bar connecting every triangle, and maybe the colonel, like the full colonel, would have like a full box, or like connecting both sides, so it's more like a full shape going across. And then then we'll have to think of something for generals, but yeah, I think that might work as a build out. So that's cool. That's the plan. Hey, Red. We're doing ranks. We're doing military ranks for the for that army. Because we finished the map. Well, we did. I finished the map yesterday, like last night, before I went to bed. So I'm kind of scrambling to figure out something to do for today's stream. So I decided, why not go ahead and do the officer ranks for this, since we kind of needed to do that anyways. So that's kind of where we're at. And Utari's helping me with that because Midge has been held up for the stream. He'll be here later, but until then, Utari's helping me, though not right now because he went out to go get a smoke. So we're dealing. So yeah, that's what we're dealing with today.
Oh, I'm back.
Welcome back. Do you think that's defined enough, Utari, between the major and the lieutenant colonel? I'm flipping between just the single line that I was going to represent it as, or do you think that needs more?
Yeah. No, I think maybe make it just a little bit thicker, like similar to the piping, I'd say. So if that makes sense.
That is the piping. Okay. That is the piping. That's a 10 pixel width.
Oh yeah, it's just because of the sides look a little bit thicker. It's an optical illusion. Yeah. Okay, I get you. I would shift everything slightly to the right because your end one is hitting the piping itself, so you need to even out the gap there. But other than that, it'd be distinct enough that you'd be like, all right, he's got bars as well. It's like having bars could even be an expression. He's got the bars. Or getting barred is like getting promoted. So I can definitely see that.
Okay.
Because in the British we have something called getting pinked, where it's majors and lieutenant colonels are on the shortlist to get a for majors it's lieutenant colonel, and for the lieutenant colonels to become full colonels. It comes from the memo is formally on a pink slip. That's what it means by being pinked, because you're on the pink list through the pink papers. So I could see equivalent with getting barred, where it's like you get your promotion up and you achieve your bars.
Yeah. Well, because that's what I was trying to go with initially in my idea, because I'm trying to think of the slang term, because that's what we came up with the enlisted, is the difference between a standard, like, or a buck sergeant, and we had color sergeant, because it's the first one that gets a color on their striping. And we thought that could just be saying to get your colors.
Yeah.
Something like that. So that would be like a something there. And then in the U.S. Army, there's a slang term, the difference between a lieutenant colonel and a colonel. They would call a colonel is a lot of enlisted and a lot of officers will instead call him a bird colonel, because it's the colonel that gets the eagle symbol, while the lieutenant colonel just gets a gold oak leaf.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the thing. So so a full colonel wouldn't get full bars; they just get the bars capping these little mountains. Like that.
Yeah.
I think that works. Also, Red's here, so she popped in right when you went to go get your smoke.
Hey, Red.
So I got that. Save. Okay, so now I gotta think of something for the general.
For generals, generally, I would move away from any sort of triangles. Maybe go diamonds.
Could go
Like
diamonds. I was thinking.
triangle.
I was thinking changing up the basic tab as well, basic collar tab.
Yeah.
Because it's also a thing. So I could go ahead and step the field in another 5 spaces, and have an interior pipe of gold. So there's an exterior pipe of the service color, an interior pipe of gold, and then the field as kind of like a pop to it.
Yeah.
So to do that, I need to clear this layer again. Right? Yeah, clear that layer again. Then create selection. Shrink selected area 10. We pop down an actual gold. It's just a little bit deeper. Gold. Oh, no, wrong layer. Gold. And then shrink it down one more step of 5. Or should I reverse that? I don't know. Does that just get eaten in the
A little bit. I would
hold on.
maybe
Maybe
keep it as it is.
I'm
Just the
thinking
white.
I'm thinking it's just the fact that this is on a blank empty void. Like if I do this, like if I just put down a rectangle of blue underneath here. That was the wrong thing to do. If I just go ahead and have that, color swatch this, drop this down, does that make it any easier to spot? Or is that, no? I don't know.
We'll see when it catches up. No, it's still not. It's the interior field itself. If you're going generals, though, you could change the color of the interior field to something else, like maybe red. Red would stand out the yellow very clearly.
Red would, but that's also that's a very British thing.
It is. It is.
Yeah, that's very British.
The problem is if you're looking at like gold piping, gold and silver in heraldry terms, they're definite no-nos. Trying to combine them in one space because they just bleed each other out.
They do bleed each other. I'm just trying to think of. I could do that blue on the interior.
Yeah.
So we pop a blue in there. I don't think that's half bad. I'll give it a second to catch up.
Yeah, that's much better as well. That makes it pop out much better.
Okay. And if I put that, like if we imagine this like on a collar tab with the same color, does that bleed? Kind of. Like if we imagine that blue rectangle behind it is the collar color.
Yeah. So
maybe I should go with a different color for the interior blue, maybe?
Yeah. A different shade of blue might help.
A different shade. I like the blue because that's their like national color, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So let me get a swatch out. So let's what do you think? Darker or lighter? Because the lighter we go, the more that's gonna potentially bleed with the gold. Yeah, red is right. It'll be embossed and raised, but I don't think that'll make it any better though. Because if you're thinking about it, like a rank's supposed to be readable from a distance, like across a room at least. It's not obviously it's not supposed to be across like a field because that's a security risk, but at least from like across a room. So if you're thinking about like this, 1/8 the size, 20 feet away from you, you should be able to read it, and it shouldn't like get mixed. So let's. I still think let's go for like a. I'm trying to stay away from like. Yeah, I think that's a better blue. I think. Let me get the background reference. I keep erasing it because I'm an idiot. That's better. That's better. It'll pop up here. Hey, Midge. You want to join in the chat? Let me get you in here. How do I do that? Completely forgotten. It'll come to me. There you go.
Eventually.
There we go. 'Tis done.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
How are we doing? Where are we at?
We're making ranks for the officer corps.
Cool. Okay.
We're on the general ranks now. Hold on, let me get the just so you're kind of caught up. Let me just get it up here in the various in the correct order. So we got that. Lieutenant, Captain, Major, Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel. Okay, so on stream, we've got the idea was that I came up with the rank structure last night for the officers. So it goes junior lieutenant / lieutenant. So like junior lieutenant is a almost trainee rank. There's no equivalent to like a second lieutenant, first lieutenant in this structure. The junior lieutenant is just a like a non is an officer rank that doesn't have any field experience. So they're technically subordinate to the most senior enlisted of their unit.
Okay.
Technically, though nominally they are still above a senior enlisted. So it's more of an officialized version of what a lieutenant normally is, or second lieutenant normally is. Then you have lieutenant, captain, major, lieutenant colonel, colonel, and then brigadier general, major general, lieutenant general, general, and then field marshal. So that nests quite well. So what me and Nutari came up with was that the like I said last week, collar tab is going to be the rank placement, and it'll be a like off-white field, at least for the junior, or at least for the non-flag officers. Off-white field with piping around it, and the piping indicates service branch or like specialty branch. So army, cavalry, artillery, signals, etc., etc. So we got that. So the junior lieutenant would just be a blank tab, like it will just be the piping and the off-white with no device or icon inside of it. So just like a blank tab on the collar. Then we go, and that's on the screen right now. Then we go.
Yeah, I'm following.
Yeah. Then we go to a full lieutenant, which has a I guess a gold / brass triangle device on the most forward part of the collar tab. Because this is imagine the bottom point is at the bottom front of the collar, and the top point is in the bottom back of the collar. Yeah. So this is where so single triangle. Captain's got 2 triangles. Major's got 3 triangles. Lieutenant colonel gets a bar that connects all the triangles together on the bottom. And then a full colonel gets a top bar as well that connects it all into like a single icon. And that'll pop up on the screen here.
So you're ditching the Falcon idea?
Yeah, I guess. I like it. Like, hold on, because I have it. Like I have one that I like, but I couldn't get it to work because I'm bad at drawing and I'm bad at tracing. So like this was the design that should come up on the screen, like this kind of falcon. But I also realized, because Zutari made a good point. Well, either way, I kind of worked it out that it wouldn't necessarily track with the evolution of the ranks. Because if we look at like the enlisted, it's very simple iconography that kind of builds upon itself.
Yeah.
So going ahead and then just making out of nowhere like a full colonel an icon doesn't necessarily make a lot of sense. So I decided to just go with something a little simpler.
Fair enough. No, I like it. I was just
Yeah, yeah. I get it. And now we're on generals ranks.
okay.
And we've come up with the fact that it's a collar patch, or it's a collar. It's the same collar tab with an outer surface branch pipe color, and then an inner pipe of gold,
Mm-hmm.
and then like a lighter blue field.
Okay.
Because the gold doesn't make a lot doesn't really work with the off-white interior of the other colors. Kind of bleeds really hard, so we went with this. And now we got to come up with the how to represent the various general ranks, like the top ranks there. So what was your suggestion, Utari? Diamonds?
Yeah, since you've written triangles for junior ranks, diamonds are like double triangles.
Hmm. Tis true. Tis true. How many of these we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's got to be something that can be built out to 5 different ranks.
Yeah.
Icons. So okay. What do you think, Midge? You just,
I'm thinking. I'm looking at other worldly examples. I realized that the styling of what we've done for the wrist stuff is actually very RAF. I didn't even realize.
It is. I didn't.
Yeah.
I thought it was fairly unique. I haven't seen it before.
The British RAF do
other than
cuffs
like
for wing
naval
commanders
ranks.
and stuff. Yeah, it's the RAF. The RAF kind of do it for their officers because they do wrists combined with a different emblem on the hat apparently.
Oh, okay.
So all of it, but it's for their officer ranks that they do the cuff stuff instead,
Okay.
and the enlisted are on the arm.
All right.
It's cool.
Interesting. That kind of works out.
Also,
Also, like a secondary
think
thing to indicate rank, and something I came up with while I was doing the enlisted. And I was thinking about having a delineation between the most senior enlisted and all the other enlisted was the button color, because that was a big thing back in like the World War II, or even because even World War One, kind of like beginning of World War One, it was still a thing. Because I thought all of the enlisted, because I've got it here, I got like a brass color, so they'd have like brass buttons, but it'd be like maybe a full gold buttons for all the officers,
Yeah,
or
makes sense.
maybe something else, just a different metal. Just came up with that.
what's the flag of this place again?
It's
It's the
one with the two. It's the asymmetrical one.
diagonal one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta find it.
Yeah. Okay. I was just trying to see if there was anything on the flag we can nab.
Not really. Not really. This
No.
one. I'll bring it up right now. Well, not with that gold. You sent over the other one. There we go. That's the flag of this place.
Yeah. So they don't really have any symbol to use. A diamond could definitely work, like Utari says.
Hmm. Diamond could work, yeah. By the way, if you'd like, Midge, you can go ahead and plug the stream. It does help with the viewership
Yes.
quite a bit.
Yeah. No, I will do. I'm still kind of
Yeah,
getting like all my everything.
I'm here now.
Had no setup time. Yeah, exactly. British Army, like
See, I'm
they
trying.
do.
Mm.
They do sword and scabbard, and badge, then sword and scabbard and crown, then sword, scabbard, badge, and crown, and then laurel wreath and crown. But like blades could be an interesting one.
I mean, they
Like
could
a
be.
number of blades.
That tends more for me to represent like almost
Cavalry
senior,
or
like
something.
field
Yeah.
marshal or cavalry officers. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
because we're drawing from a lot here, but like the service branch color is a very German idea, and that kind of supplants that idea that there would be a different icon for a cavalry officer because you have a different color.
Yeah.
And that color represents the cavalry, so the icon doesn't matter when it comes to who your like what your branch is. So, I mean, obviously, there's going to be uniform differences, like they'll be wearing riding boots and stuff, because it's the World War I, so there's still going to be cavalry officers that are not going to do anything through most of the war. Diamond. Hold on. Let's try a diamond. Let's try that. So I got that off color there. Let's see how this like looks. I guess if we're going for that, I just gotta kind of find the center point. Get the snapped grid going. Like that. Give it a minute to catch up. Or is that a bit too small? I'm trying to make it so that it's expandable outward.
Mm-hmm.
But does that differentiate? But does that differentiate it as much for a standalone?
Ooh, I've just thought of a shape that will work. It's a diamond still, but like
Brigadier General.
I've got an idea of what the pin could look like. Hold on, let me load up Photoshop.
Okay.
Um,
Because right now,
just to kind of because the final thing for the other ranks is like triangles joined by bars, correct?
yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh, sorry, I had to stretch there. Oh.
No worries, no worries. I've got an idea for a shape. So I'm thinking a solid diamond, but then like a millimeter gap with like a bar diamond around it with a little bar connecting the two. If that makes sense.
Like a tesseract diamond.
I guess.
Because a tesseract is a square that has lines connecting an outer square that don't intersect.
Give me 1,000 by 1,000. That too.
So, get your idea out there. We'll see what it.
Yeah.
Hard.
Photoshop's doing its thing.
Loading up all your shit.
But anyway, so the first few obviously are going to be diamonds, but it's got to evolve to something else really for the top ranks.
Yeah.
Has it not?
Yeah, it has to. Well, it's got to evolve. It's got to evolve for the field marshal because that's the only super differentiated one. Because the field marshal has radically different
job,
a radically different area of response or a level of responsibility. Because that's what the rank ultimately symbolizes is is responsibility. What's your responsibility?
Is there like a symbol of the Republic?
I don't know. I keep going back to that damn falcon. I like the idea that it's still it's I don't know like it's in my head and it's something that's right on the tip that I could work into like making sense, but I don't have something like hold on,
like a falcon surrounded by laurel wreaths, because field marshals and like the upper echelon generals are normally a major like
idea. Here's the idea. Okay,
so much.
The falcon could work as a symbol because previous the previous governments that the current republic was built from used the falcons as like symbols of the royalty. But they were always presented as like what's the word? Presented as like wings spread, like spread eagle, or at rest. But the Republic took the falcon, and now it's a falcon in the midst of a hunt. That's the diving falcon icon. Does that make sense, or am I just like super pushing that into or am I just does that just sound like it's been really forced?
Yeah, a little bit forced.
Okay.
You'd have to show the symbiology somewhere.
Why don't you have a diamond tool?
Just use 2 triangle tools or a polygon line.
I am going a different way about that. I'm getting a diamond from the internet and colouring it.
Just make one yourself. I made one.
Well, I'm not you.
Yeah, you're a better artist than I am. So you have even less of an excuse.
Which is why I cheat where I can. And you know that's how art works.
I mean, hell, I have nowhere to. I can't complain. All these enlisted ranks were made from a really low poly, a really low quality picture that I traced so I could get the shape. Because my current problem with this general rank, as it is presented right now, is that gold triangle or that gold diamond's a little bit too small. I guess I could just go ahead and make it larger and see how that looks. Actually,
square tool in the same color. So this is the shape I mean.
hold on a second. I think I got something here. I need to work it out.
It's in Discord.
Yeah, hold on.
Although that was done fast, so it's not. It's got a little bit of an overlap where it shouldn't do, but.
I think you might be able to see what I'm going with here. I just need to get it. I need to figure out how I'm going to do this.
That's kind of exactly what I've done, except
Is it?
for only one bar. Yeah, literally just check.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got only 2 screens, Midge. I've only got 2 screens. Hold on. I just need to. No, because I'm not gonna just leave it at this. Hold on. I'm trying to do art.
Okay.
I'm trying to do art, Midge.
I am an artiste.
Hold on, I can do this a lot easier. A lot fucking easier. Okay. If I just use multiple layers, because that's what you do. Because I smart.
Smart.
Stonks. Got that. Did it again. There we go. I did it. Just let it catch up. Let it catch up. That symbol.
Yeah.
Because I think that represents like it being 3-dimensional. I did it. I did perspective. What do you think, Midge?
Yeah, I like it.
So now I just need to compress all of that into a single layer and then just copy and paste it a couple of times for the other ranks. And this is a... Which one is it? This is a Brigadier.
I'll play around with another idea I had then for a shape.
No, that's fine. By the way, one of these days, Midge, you should just see if, what's his name? Or their name. I don't know their pronouns. Madman Artist wants to join in.
Say he, I believe. I think he identifies as he.
Okay.
Yeah, I will try and grab him for one of these.
Because that'd be a hell of a lot easier with somebody who knows what they're doing. Let's make this into a single layer. How do I do that again? Merge selected layers. There we go. And it's a single symbol. Haha!
If it's the same hotkeys as Photoshop, it would be Control E.
I don't think it is. If I... No, it's not. Okay, so we got all that. So now let's make a copy of this layer and just copy and paste.
Shifty. Control Shifty. No, it's Control A. Control Shifty makes everything the same.
Okay. Okay, and this will be a major general. Here, save as. I'm really proud about that symbol, which is it's really sad that something that simple makes me proud. It's like me holding up a crayon drawing and I made this. Just fucking...
Well done, son.
Good man.
God damn it.
So I'm just going to send you over another symbol of maybe a very high rank. Maybe the Field Marshal one.
All right.
Boop. Sent.
Selection. Copy. Paste. Deselect. What is it? It looks a little bit, I don't know. A bit more complex.
Hmm.
Like unnaturally so, if you get what I'm saying. Like it doesn't, I don't see the logical progression.
Well, for me, the logical progression of mine was it's two of the shapes that I sent you originally on the side
Oh.
twice. So it's a combination of the shape from before.
Give me a minute. Let's save as. Okay, this one is not a major general anymore. It is a lieutenant general.
Lieutenant General Governor, sir.
I gotta say, this project has really increased my like progress on my audiobooks. Because I've finished a series that I started way back in like 2016, not too long ago, and then I've also begun 2 other series.
Oh wow!
that I want. I've began the. You playing Hunt? Are you playing Hunt, Mitch? Are you not dedicating your time to this?
I put it up.
It's alright, Midge. I'm playing CK2, so CK3. Sorry.
I know.
I've taken Rome.
Guessing.
I
You've taken
beat-
Rome. Oh my gosh!
beat the mercenary spam.
You beat the Pope. The paper.
I beat the Pope because the Pope sent all of his stacks of mercenaries to go siege down Apulia, and I just like sailed right in and just ninja capped Rome.
Who are you playing as?
Byzantium.
Yeah, my current game of Byzantium, I already have all of the papacy's gone. They've been gone for about 20 years.
Yeah, you need to get them early at the moment. That's...
Yeah. Though I've noticed a problem with all the Byzantium games so far is like it's always the same thing. My 3rd or 4th generation, there's always a big war. First time through it was a succession war. Somebody else thought somebody should be the king or emperor. And then this current one, just like a Crown Authority, like a Liberty War.
Yep.
It's always the same area, like generation. So okay, we got the Lieutenant General. Now I need to come up with the symbol for a full general. Which should it just be 2 bars that connect all of the 3 symbols for a general, like a full general?
See, back to UK stuff, it's about that rank that we start to really change them.
There's only 2 ranks more in this. There's the general and field marshal.
Exactly. It's about that type of, so they start getting essentially their own individual symbol, just to really differentiate them.
Yeah.
That's a British thing.
That's if you're gonna use the Falcon, that's the point that you would.
Yeah. You'd have like one of those and a falcon with a laurel wreath around it, or a falcon grasping an olive branch, or something like that. Something high ranks is where you start getting really
creative.
Yeah,
gaudy.
You've got Photoshop, right, Midge?
Yeah.
Okay, take this then and try to get a
user. Cut it out and change a color.
Well, just give me like something that I can color.
Okay.
I don't need you to do everything. I just need you to get it because Clip Studio Paint is a great program, but it's not a Photoshop.
It can't cut things out.
No, it can. It's got a tool and everything for it. It's just not as sensitive as Photoshop, because I remember using Photoshop and it's a lot more precise than this is. If I can find the damn symbol. Where did I draw this from? Where is this at on my computer? Got it.
Oh, that's a small file.
Yeah, that's the problem as well. Is I can't get anything bigger. Seriously, Duke? Really? Turn a spray bottle on you. It's got like 10 times the energy he should have. It's a damn cat.
Now let's
Because what I'll probably do is like a full general will just have the bird, and then the field marshal will have a bird in the center with 2 stars flanking it.
Any particular? Yeah. Put a clipping mask over it as well, just to clear up some of those edges.
Yeah, that's the problem. See, if I was working on a vector program, I could probably do it better. Well, actually, you know what? I really
got a vector program as well.
So do I. I've got 2. Plus, CSP actually does vector layers as well, if I wanted to. I don't know how to use them, but they're there. Yeah, new vector layer. I have to learn how to use that one of these days. And I have like other programs. Like this is like I've got Inkscape, and I bought Infinity Designer, so I've got like a free vector-based program and a paid-for one, but I don't know how to use the paid-for one at all. Because I was the dumb. Okay, I need to open this up and download it. Great name, by the way, for that file. Bird.
Where is Bird?
Or, no, we're not going to get that. We need to open. Okay, so we got that. I can select from file, copy, And then paste. Okay, it's a little big. That's fine. It's workable.
It's better to be bigger.
Yeah.
Than too small, you overstretch and then you just get pixels.
Yeah. So now I just need to get the transform tool out here. Scale up. Scale down. Maintain current proportions. Needs to be a little smaller. Selection. Then we fill this. Span selection area by 1 pixel.
I can just imagine now like a Republic like painting where it's like a fire torn landscape and there's a falcon like carrying the Republic's flag across a battlefield.
Yeah, that was kind of the idea, is that it's a symbol that's been taken from the nobility. Actually, let's shrink this. Let's give this a black border.
What's the nation's like major export? Is it like a very farmland nation? Is it because you could nab the whole Soviet thing of, you know, the next thing that goes around it is like a laurel of like wheat rather than like the Roman style laurel.
I haven't gone that far yet. Let's say, what do you think? That's what I've worked with, because it's very hard to work with like a symbol as a thing. I just put a black background or fill them with gold, so it's kind of like maybe the gold's like an enamel or something, you know. So we'll save this as just a basic general.
It's a 2D reference, like you're not actually having them made. It doesn't.
That would be awesome though, in the future.
Well, it's like when this is all published, you've got a massive fan base. You're doing, was it DenCon or whatever the book title was like.
DenCon.
It was because this is the Lion's Den project. DenCon. DenCon. Everyone comes in like, you know, you get cosplayers. They need to know what like, and then like, you have a merch store that sells the different rank pins. You know.
And I'm thinking maybe this symbol for Field Marshal, where instead of where it's flanked by 2 stars.
See, in my head, that's not that's not extravagant enough for a Field Marshal. That looks like the whatever rank we're on now.
Field Marshal. Because just the bird is the general, and then Field Marshal's the top one. Because we've done all the rest of them. So because we've got all the like we've got all the
what do you think, Atari?
Yeah. I'm pretty much with what you're just saying. Like, going back a bit with the Falcon idea, I do like the idea that I would leave the Falcon playing for regular generals. But if you've got some sort of equivalent of Field Marshal or like the head of the army, effectively, that's when I would add in any sort of like reef or anything like that to really differentiate them, if that makes sense. Like keep the Falcon, but then it's the reef or or the wheat or whatever you want to go with, something to really jazz it up. That's for like the top level officer.
Yeah, I'm looking at other historical examples, and they're just like they go overboard. Like they're essentially like almost like a full on like a what do you call it? A diorama. um, like that just looks more like a like in my head like yeah like first rank of general rather
Yeah.
than field marshal.
Okay, so now I need to come up with something for
Also,
field
maybe at
marshal.
field marshal, the field that it's on changes color as well.
I was thinking about that. I was thinking about dropping the
Maybe
gold
go to the
piping.
maybe go to the red. Keep the gold piping. Maybe go to a red background color because you've got to make them really. That's the thing. People have got to know that holy hell, this is Boss Man. He is,
Yeah.
and they'll want to know.
Could do interlocked. I could do, instead of it just being a blue, keep the blue as a background, but instead below the on as the patch or as the like the collar tab, keep the bird. Maybe do lines of gold down at regular intervals. Hold on, let me try and do this.
Yeah, draw and explain.
Draw and explain, because I have a program that lets me do that. I need to remember that. Okay. Well, that's too small. 10. Let's go with an 8. Oh shit, that's the wrong layer. And I have another idea if this doesn't work out. And then reviving.
A bit smoke.
Then reviving that a little bit, like this, as an idea. Let it catch up a little bit. No red, not flags. These are ranks. We're doing ranks today. What do you think, Midge? If you can't play games and help.
I think it's. I'm not. Well, I mean, I am, but I'm helping. I think it's because you're reusing the symbol from before that was the lower ranks. That's what's
All right,
messing with my head.
What if I get rid of those? What if I get rid of those?
I'm waiting for it to catch up.
Yeah.
Right, there it goes. Yeah, now it looks too plain. It's difficult. It's difficult. I do like the barring at the back though.
1 second. I'll be right back, guys. All right, I'm back, guys.
Welcome back, both of you. You just turned up at the same time.
Oh,
Who'd have thunk it?
yeah. Sorry about that. I had to talk to my father. He had to go get. He's getting groceries, so I had to write down all the shit we needed. All right, so we still need to work out a. I guess device symbols to go on either side of this falcon.
Yeah, you need what couples the falcon. I like the falcon as an idea. Definitely. It needs some sort of uber glamming up. Like, quickly just take a look at field marshal rank insignias, and you'll see they're all like gaudy as fuck.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I can't draw a wreath.
You might be able to find one with a transparent background though, which you could then slab on just while you're trying to find out what it looks like, you know.
I guess so. I do also have the option. Do I? Is it? Where's it at? Got a whole bunch of symbol tools, decoration tools that I could use. Wonder if there's any of them here that are labeled like oak leaf. Seriously, Duke? Don't make me. He's all excited because Dad's been home and now he's leaving, so. So he's just zooming everywhere.
He's got the zoomies. It's like us on a Wednesday where we haven't played for a week.
Yeah.
It's always when we get the zoomies. It's after we've had a break. Or the week after we've had a break. Like,
Yeah.
we will without a doubt have the zoomies in some way or another.
Oh god, that was adorable. He just ran up the stairs from going across a whole bunch of times, then stopped and looked at me, and he did that thing cats do when they're really worn out. As he just had his mouth open, he was panting, looking at me. That was adorable. Could do a gold chain. That is a thing I have access to.
Chains could work.
Yeah, it'd have to be something like. Oh wow, that doesn't look right. I'd have to get rid of this background. Get this. And I could make just a standard curve. No, I can't. I don't have a hand steady enough. Okay. Thoughts.
You've got to kind of decide on what device it's symbolized the Republic in some way. Because if you just Google Field Marshal insignia, you just get so much like for all. I mean, Britain's probably one of the worst, but a lot of them are as all like there's so much flourish to it.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find. Maybe that works. Let me save as. Okay, that's apparently unsupported. How is that an unsupported file format? It's a PNG file. How's that unsupported? Midge, can you go ahead and, I guess, take a look at this, see if you can get it to work? It says this is an unsupported file format, though
Sure.
it's a PNG file, so I'm not sure what it means.
Oh, sometimes if it's a PNG that you pull off Google, sometimes they don't download properly if they're hosted on an older website that actually can't download PNGs, but the computer thinks it can. Yeah, I come across that a lot.
It shows
What
up
do
as
you want?
PNG. I just
Yeah,
want
it
it
does.
to work as a PNG so I can get it in here.
Do you want the background removed?
Does it have one?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
Because
I
it's
guess.
saved on my computer as a JPEG just then, rather than a PNG.
I don't understand. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I might be able to.
Get layer from background.
Did I get it? I think I got it.
I've just removed all the background.
I think I figured out what was going on with it. I just needed to. It's one of those sites that's got like an extra step. You can't get it off Google. You have to go to the website and then get the download link and everything. So I think I got it. I think I got it.
All right, no worries.
Selection. No, that's the wrong color. I'm an idiot. How about that?
That looks far better. I still think it could probably be a tiny bit more, but like, that looks far better as your field marshal rank.
With the horizontal lines going through as well. The question is, because
The horizontal lines, that's just caught up for me. Yeah, that looks good, but I think if you were going to do horizontal lines, I don't think the blue thing. I think go to red, considering everything else has been blue. I think you should really make a thing of it. You know.
well, blue I'm thinking is the color of the nation. Red doesn't really have a place in a lot of areas.
It's just it's the thing is it's the contrast of it on a blue uniform. And like remember when you went to like the what's it called, like the sergeant major, essentially that was like all red sleeves. It would tie in there because that's the highest rank of like the non-commissioned. It makes sense that the highest rank of the officer corps also took that color.
Guess maybe.
I mean, if you're not sold on it, don't do it. But
I was just gonna check something here because for some reason my internet it's having problems now. Just making sure there's nothing downloading on any of my devices. It's not there. Oh, we'll see. I was also thinking maybe doing instead of horizontal lines, maybe doing diagonal.
diagonal will work because that would match the flag.
It also match the general shape of the rank symbol. Nah, it doesn't really work. I'm only halfway through and I can already tell that doesn't really work. Alright, we'll call this field marshal rank and then we'll move on. Morning, Ryan. So let's save as. Field Marshal. Alright, do not save. Save. Okay, so we have all of the ranks of the Algan Officer Corps. Done. So that is from the bottom. Let's go. We've got Junior Lieutenant, Lieutenant, Captain, Major, Colonel, or Lieutenant Colonel, Colonel. Then we've got Brigadier General, Major General, Lieutenant General, Full General, and now Field Marshal. I think that's fairly good progression.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that works. Okay.
Field Marshal looks so much more regal without using the, you know, not in the aristocratic sense, but like you can tell that, okay, that person is the one that is definitely in charge.
I guess so, yeah. All right, so now with all that done, I need to figure out something else to do for the next bit of the stream.
Uniform color. Decide your uniform colors.
I already got that, like the blue. I know what the uniform. Like
Okay,
looks
do
like.
the other side of the wall, or like do the enemy.
Do the enemy. I don't really need the enemy though. I mean, I don't really need the flesh out the ranks like that.
No, but I mean, their uniform and stuff.
I mean, I already know kind of like Pensilia's got like a greenish uniform, like a green gray. Folden's got like a reddish uniform color. Galbia and Altria are khaki, like full khaki. So I kind of know all of that. And I finished the map. Like the map's done. All everything's named. For God's sakes, all 411 of them.
Then what's left?
I'm trying to think. I'm thinking if there's anything left that is necessarily drawing or anything that needs to be used in this program, because we got all that, and that's all I needed for visual reference. There, I can't do like actual visual references of like drawing out characters because I'm not good at that.
So are you done? Is that project done?
I mean, the project's not done because the project's the book.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, you could switch to writing stuff.
Could switch to just writing stuff. That is true. That is very true. I'm just trying to think.
You're just trying to think of things to put off writing with.
That is actually true.
Oh, don't I know it?
I do love writing.
But you also love putting it off.
I do. I do. Oh, is there any is there any symbols that you can find that aren't labeled? Because I found a couple of those when I was going through some of the steps, but I don't know if I caught them all. That'd be a good thing to do before I finalize this goddamn monster map.
I didn't notice.
All right. See you, sorry.
I didn't notice, but then again, I don't think I looked hard enough to notice because there's a lot. I mean, I looked at it and I was like, "Oh, that's really cool." Looking at but I didn't go and check every single place name. Because
I'm hearing a lot of excuses.
Yeah, I've got time.
Just hearing a lot of excuses, Midge.
Well, yeah.
It would have to be this. It'd have to be like the cities and towns, because there's not too many
Oh
important.
yeah, definitely all the important places were fine. It was just didn't go around and read all the little ones.
Yeah, I guess that's it. I guess that's it for the map. I shall
Congratulations.
close it. If I close it, then it's actually done, which means I move on to the next thing. I've been doing this for a month, 35 days. I've been working on this goddamn map. I want to bask.
I mean, hell, it's bask in its glory.
It's quite literally the most detailed map I've ever worked on.
So, what's the next map you're designing, eh?
I don't know.
Onto the world map. Onto the world map.
I've already made the world map. It's not detailed.
I know.
But,
Labels.
No.
Naming everything on the world map. Go.
No. You don't even need that for an RPG.
No, you don't.
Well,
you do. It takes like 15 years of implementing new areas.
No, you don't. You just need to like supplement an area and just like leave it up to people. Like even if you're making an RPG, you don't need to label all the like every single settlement or even place all the settlements. You just place like important stuff, and then GMs will fill out things for their own games. So that's how.
I was talking like online RPG. I was talking like.
That's expansions.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Expansion packs. That's.
Yeah. It's not necessary.
Got to leave yourself room to grow and make more money off of it. Come on.
Yeah. I know. I've played Game Dev Simulator, or whatever that game is called. I forget.
Can't remember. Game Dev Tycoon, is it?
Tycoon, I think. Yeah. Tycoon. I've played that. I ran the most like profitable project I ever did in that game was an MMORPG science fiction game. I think I just called Soul. So like in my head, it was just a simulation of the solar system in like the future, and like all the expansions were named after different planets.
That's funny.
Which would be my like dream game. Yeah, I guess this is it. All right. So let's minimize the map. So now we're going to my writing program.
Congrats, dude. It is a good step to have passed.
Yeah. No, I know.
And don't worry, you'll do about 4 days of writing, and then you'll find another way to procrastinate. Hell, that's why what gets onto like.
I'm already procrastinating now.
Back to like my D&D world stream is just like, oh, let's design a god, but I'm first going to design the symbol, rather than doing all the boring written bit.
So now I just need to move my drawing tablet and the pen out of the way, get my keyboard back down to the tray. By the way, did you see Dimension 20 started releasing the full-length episodes of Unsleeping City on their YouTube?
I have a thingy account, so no, I haven't.
Oh.
I've got a dropout account now.
So do I. so do I.
I was about to say, if you didn't, you can borrow mine.
Oh, that'd be great, actually. It's not a cheap service, even though the company that started it is dead. Well, not dead, but...
It's what, $4.99?
Yeah, I guess it's not bad. But they're not producing a lot of the stuff anymore.
No, that's the thing.
They're out of business.
A lot of it's an archive.
Yeah, because they're bankrupt. There's only like... I think only Brendan Lee Mulligan is the only like talent that's actually employed by them anymore.
Yeah, the others are freelanced out, and
everybody else got fired.
No, it's not fired; it's made redundant.
But they're let go. I think they were let go. I think they're fired. I think that's what they are. But yeah, so it is just an archive at this point, which means it's not
Yeah.
really expanding, except for
Yeah, it should be essentially a one-time payment, but then they wouldn't make their money back to try and get out of bankruptcy. So
yeah.
it's a bit of a
About the only thing they do have that's being produced anymore is Dimension 20. That is
yeah.
that is the
Well,
only thing.
but that barely takes production. Well, it takes some
No,
production.
they have a
but, like,
lot of production for that show. All those sets, like, are not, not sets, but battle maps, like those super detailed, really, really.
But they haven't used those in a long time.
They have though. All of
mine.
Crown of Candy. Crown of Candy.
Okay,
uses
I haven't
them.
watched Crown of Candy yet, so
Super
still
detailed ones, amazingly ones.
Okay,
They had a sinking ship one where every round, like, the ship was made in parts, so they could take it apart and it would go lower and lower into the water, like shit like that, like super detailed stuff. And I think their new one that they're coming out with soon is gonna have. I mean, it has battle map. Well, no, because they were all. It's all the damn pandemic, so they haven't used that. So yeah, you're right. Lately, it hasn't. Yeah, but for everybody who's watching now, I'm writing, or I'm getting into writing, because we've done most of the world building stuff, and I use a program called Bibiasco, I think it is. That's Bravo India, Sierra, Charlie, Oscar. So I think that's Bibiasco, I think, whatever. It's a writing program that kind of helps you make your books. It lets you write out, like, narrative strands, divide chapters into various different scenes, have a repository for all your characters, main characters, secondary characters, have a repository for all your written out locations, objects, even put a timeline down, and it keeps track of everything. So it's really nice. It's really, really good.
Just to keep you open to sponsorship in the future, other programs do exist. This is just the one being used.
Other programs do exist, but they're very expensive or subscription based. This one is not. I paid for this with my own money. And it was a one-time purchase of, I think, like $10, because the people that make it are super awesome. And they just want people to be able to write. But yeah, this is a character. So there's two in this program. There's two various. There's secondary characters and characters. Secondary characters just kind of have a small, like an area that you can kind of write out small, like, things about them. But primary characters, which the one you're on screen right now is a primary character, Kurz Adler. It actually is, and this is why I really like this program. It actually has a section that you fill out things about them in almost like an interview style, so that you can.
Yep.
And it asks you a lot of questions, so you can really think about and dive into the character, and work through that. So I've been in the process of filling out Kurz's character sheet, I guess you could call it. But it has things like, it has a section for personal data, physical features, behaviors and attitudes, psychology, ideas and passions, sociology, life before the story's beginning, conflicts they go through during the story, and an evolution throughout the book. And kind of that way you can keep things blocked out, and you can keep that you can keep track of it in a very easily accessible place. And this whole section, once you write it out, or even before you write it out, is accessible in a little explorer thing in the bottom right hand or left hand corner, that you can just bring up and read while you're also still working on writing a chapter, if you need to look something up. Like, it's basically you're making your own little tiny wiki in relation to things for the story. So that's an awesome little bit that I like about this program. So hold on a second, somebody messaged me somewhere. Okay. No, it wasn't a big deal. All right. So yeah, for personal data, I've already filled out Kurz's personal data, which is very basic stuff. Just to kind of keep your, like, it's really nothing big. Like, it's like first name, surname, if they have a nickname, gender, birthplace, residence, all that kind of stuff, where they live. You know, that kind of stuff. So now we're working through his physical features so that I can kind of keep that in mind. And it doesn't need to be super detailed. So like the race, he's a half-orc. Is he short or tall? He's short for a full-blood orc. Tall for a human. Thin or fat. He is an average build for his race. Hair, short with dark black. Okay. Eyes. And now I gotta take off my drawing glove. So I can type. But yeah, if you're here to watch me draw and stuff, unfortunately, I'm going to be writing now. Or fortunately. Depending on what you were hoping for. Eyes. Nose. What are you up to, Midge? I thought you were doing some world building stuff.
I did have some to plan to do, but
Are you putting it off? Is that what you're doing?
No, I'm actually basically I'm writing something completely different. But basically, I need someone to get back to me about something about it, and they didn't. So I'm waiting on that. I mean, I could do D&D world building, but I've been doing that also in my own time, just as things. Been working on my Germanic state recently, which are my like diesel steampunky region instead of and they do it's like the easiest trying to explain it. What's a similar thing? Well, it's basically Germany but steampunk, but instead of like airships, it's giant crystals. So like their airships are like they have a magic levitating crystal above that's like roughly cut and things, and then that's also where like the Warforged come from in my universe, and they're all essentially powered by crystals.
Okay. Distinguishing features. And see, this is where, for everybody watching, this is where the creativity of a world and everything is really done, but it's also the most boring part to watch, because you're just watching somebody go, no, that wouldn't work. Oh, do that.
It's good though, because you do get to throw out ideas.
But now I'm doing character stuff at this point, so that's a little bit less, I guess, interactive, it feels like. And I can definitely tell you from how detailed some of these questions get in the later part of the primary character section. We'll be at this for a while today. Not that I necessarily need to do it. I could also write out narrative strands and a couple of other things to and locations. Though I will be right back. And I'm back. So I gotta come up with this. Does Kurz have any distinguishing features?
I had the unfortunate thing as well, though, with the way I want my D&D world to work is I've got to kind of come up with 2 new branches of magic, like schools of magic, which is like, oh no, I've got to write game mechanics, which I'm guessing is a lot like you sorting out guns.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, it's a great idea, but then you think about, now I've got to implement this so players, if they ever found a way to use it, can use it, or if I have to use it against them, you know?
Mustache or beard? Does not have a mustache or beard. So, there are some questions here that are kind of odd, but I guess they make some sense. Like, there's a whole section here. What is his or her neck like? What is his or her shoulders like? Arms, hands, chest.
That makes sense.
So I'll probably skip a lot of those because I don't think they're too useful right now.
I really enjoy the D&D world that myself and the community have created for my when I did my world building streams. Mikey's done some really good work on his like little province, his dragon province. But it's just like the whole project now is like something like 75,000 words already, and we're like on like kind of only 2 places have been gone into in like super detail. Everything else is just surface level. And that's just like the written half, not including like map titling and stuff like that. Really proud of it. I'm tempted to DM it like live at some point, as in like run a game in the world rather than, because at the moment it's my home game's world. I'm tempted to expand it into something else, just because there's so much to do in it, and I love it.
Well, it could be cool. Could be interesting. I think somebody commented on one of the streams of this. It's like a D&D world, or it's like a D&D setting, but for like 200 people. With how detailed it is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like the whole thing with like the world that we're also working on. It's just like, yeah, it's like 9 D&D worlds. Like each like country is essentially its own D&D world for sure. Like you could run so many games in the world, and like people would never meet. Would never meet. What would be really cool with your world is to run like what was the Allied Commander game where you like run a front in like teams of 4.
I was actually
in World War.
I was actually thinking about doing that. I was actually thinking about trying that, like getting some rudimentary rules together, just so I could kind of have a.
Well, you could just essentially skin it.
I could.
All you'd have to work out is a magic system as well.
I'd have to. Well, magic wouldn't be like a huge thing. It would just be like faster communications. Like it would be basically like.
But yeah, but like I'm saying, like
they have
you'd
radios,
use it
like for
buffs.
vulnerable
You'd use it as a buff system, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but I was thinking about doing something like that, mostly to try and like run out, like maybe like run 3 or 4 scenario, like 3 or 4 runs of it to see how the war would go, and kind of like run through the.
Yeah, as like a simulation of your World War.
Yeah, that was the idea.
That'd be cool.
It would be cool. It'd be a lot of work. Be a lot of work.
It's a lot more procrastination.
Yeah, it'd be a lot more procrastination. That is true. that is sadly true.
I think that's the subtitle for today's stream: how to procrastinate as a writer.
How to procrastinate as a writer. Well, I'm doing some things. I'm getting some things down. One thing I do.
No. It's productive.
I've worked. God damn it.
Yeah, it's productive procrastination.
Yeah,
it's a thing.
Oh, please do that, Red. Is that sarcasm, Red? Is that sarcasm, or are you meaning that? Because the asterisk or the 3 dots at the end.
You sound too British. You sound too British right now. You can't tell.
Turn it down. Turn it down. Because I would do that. That would be kind of fun. Because I was thinking about like earlier, like what would the. Because that's the thing. Like the first book. Because okay, here's in my head right now. Because I worked it out last night. Which is really sad that it took me this long to kind of get that far. But I've been like working through a lot of things. I swear to God, Duke. I swear to God, you're getting on my last nerve, buddy. He'll be back in an hour. Just calm down. He's gonna be a mess when Dad leaves tomorrow. He's so happy he's back.
Yeah.
Okay. The idea. Oh, okay, Red. Yeah, no, it would be fun. It would be fun. I'd have to work out like a system for resolving things. But I could skin like a basic like board game system or something on it. But the idea for the first book is the whole reason I came up with the name was unrelated. I came up with the name because it sounded cool, but then it started morphing in my head, and I've come up with an idea of why it's named that. And I was thinking it could focus on, like we have two main characters right now, Kurz Adler and Charles Martin. Charles Martin's a commander. Kurz Adler's just a young half-orc kid that's been kind of pressed into service as a mage. But I had to come up with like a through line, a thread that connected them, and a storyline. Which I had like the major war, but I needed something a bit more personal. So I was thinking, I've for a while, Martin was the second in command of a fortress along the border with Folden. And for reference, I'll bring this out here. Like Folden's this.
No, the map's been open again.
The map's been well. No, it's just I haven't opened the program. It's just the picture. It's just the already rendered out picture. But like this area here with Folden, like near Clararest or like this border. So he's like second in command, becomes in command of this fortress, and I want it to be like a smaller scale story, so it would take place primarily along this area with the fortress. And I think it'd be cool, and tell me if it's too cheesy, that the fortress has like a name. I haven't come up with a name for the fortress yet, but it's got to be something like obtuse or like old or doesn't really inspire a lot. It's just kind of, it's an old like former fortress like from the medieval ages that's been pressed into service as like a modern military fortress. But throughout, the defenders of the fortress earn respect and admiration and even some like tepid fear or dread from the enemy, and towards the end of the story or this part of the war, the enemy just start calling it the Lion's Den.
Maybe a pun on that then, so like something lion. Well, what's
I think
like?
it could be an obtuse French name.
Well,
because it's in that area of the country. It could just be getting
Yeah,
obtuse.
that's what I'm saying. Which nationality? So it just sounds like what's like Leo, like what's like Castle
What's castle in French?
Lionheart? What's Castle Lionheart in
No,
French?
that's a bit too. That's a bit too. Because that actually does sound cool. Like Fortress Lionheart. Because that could be like that'd be something you'd be proud. It's got to be something like the name of somebody from that nobody cares about anymore. From an old, like it's just an old name that and it sounds like lion. And that's just how, and then the Foldens who speak a somewhat
General like Leo Bank, like named after an old like royalty general, like something like that.
could be fortress,
Like,
Fort Leo.
as I said, Fort Leo Bank, and then Leo becomes lion, becomes lion's den, and they can become the lions of Leo Bank. Ooh. Ow.
I don't know. Is that too cheesy as like a throughput for that to kind of like tie it together?
I think so. Sometimes you need a little bit cheese.
A little cheese.
Some cheese is allowed.
Sometimes you
can
need
have
a bit of dairy.
Calcium, you know, you got to build up that calcium.
Yep. Okay, so we'll go. Well, I'll make that a location as well. I won't fill it out yet, but could do Fort Leobanks. Lio would be maybe Lio, like Lio, like Liobanks, Liobanks. I'm trying to morph it into more of a name. How about Lioanx? Like Lima, India, Oscar, Alpha, November, Kilo, Sierra. Oh, like change the E to an I, omit the B, and just go with that. What do you think, Midge? He's muted, so I'm assuming he's doing something.
Shit. No, I didn't realize I was muted. I was saying you got to make sure it doesn't sound like a different animal other than lion now, because that kind of sounded a little too much like a lynx. You've got to make sure that people would naturally still progress it to lion. You know?
Maybe like an apostrophe there, so there's a little stop in the speech. So.
And I was also saying, also it'd be funny if like the person that's named after it wasn't even a general; they were an admiral. That's like why it's like such a nothing fortress. Like they gave it to a famous admiral, but you know it's an admiral, not a military, like not
Well, I was thinking
land
political general.
Or yeah, something like that. It's just like not
from the revolution, like a political general from the revolution, or a political general from the Brothers' War.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, there was a political general who originally was like a captain of a ship, like no land military whatsoever. So it's really stupid that they've given them a fort.
last one was ridiculously big, like so big.
The hell is that?
Like 3 times the size.
What is that noise?
The size of this room.
Oh God, sorry, I keep thinking I've muted myself. Ah, this is not working today.
It's heard like somebody else talking. Okay, so we have that. So I need to descript. So descriptors. Let's see here for Linux.
Apologies about that.
No, it's fine. Is Folden with an A or an E? E. Folden, not Foldan. Yeah, right. Didn't need to hear that.
Oh God, I've just read what you said. Step bro, what are you world building?
So far I have Fort Leonanx is a fortress that sits along the border with the nation of Folden, named after a somewhat known Algan military officer that died during the war. It has become a place where the old and worn out are sent off to. I like that as a place. It's just it is a nothing posting that anything that's just like old.
Fire you, but
Yeah, like old officers that aren't really useful or equipment or anything like that is just kind of put out there.
average age of the personnel is above 30, like 35 minimum. Like
No. I think it's still there. It's just that the younger troopers are the troubled troopers, like individuals that have gotten like reprimands or have been caught doing something, and they just get instead of being like mustered out, they get placed there. You're going to the Linux.
okay, so, fine, yeah, like that.
It's kind of like, so it's all right. I got that. Okay. So I need to come up.
Does that mean that there's like like, is it maybe that there is also just as a character thing, like the sergeant, like the whatever the highest ranking NCO there is is actually really good because he's good at getting people, like some of them, to reform or quit? Is he like that kind of guy? Like for the younger troopers, is he a um? Is he one of those? I chose to be here because I don't want crap within the army. I want you'll either be the best or you'll leave. Like by the time I'm done with you. Is that the thing? Just so
I'm
you know, because you said
because I like the idea. I like the idea that it's just a place they put people that they don't want anywhere else, and it could be a fun idea that
there's just this one character that actually chose to be there. You know?
Nah. Well, I mean, yeah. Funny thing is, you're actually describing like a character from a book I just read.
Oh right, yeah.
Like I'm reading the Shadow Campaign series by Django Wexler, and the first book in that series. And by the way, it's like a Flintlock and fantasy series.
Yes, you showed me that last week.
Maybe. But they're like in the equivalent of Africa in the world, and it's a colonial posting where they send like the fuck ups of the army, and there is a single like lieutenant who volunteered to go there, and he's just all smiles all the time, and he's really competent at his job, and he's just like, you shouldn't be here, you shouldn't be like, you're good, you actually deserve to be somewhere else.
Well, I'm just thinking in the plot of your story.
Yeah, well, I was thinking
because you've got your main character is that officer that's kind of been a bit downtrodden on, that everyone kind of find out, actually, no, you are pretty good. He's got to have someone else that he can reliably.
Well, I was thinking this. How about the most senior NCO, who I'll come up with a name with later, didn't get sent here because he's incompetent at his job, but because he's incredibly annoying. And his commander was super petty. I was thinking like maybe he's I don't know. I'd have to think of something that'd be like really annoying for the average person in the army. But he could be really religious. Just going on. Or it could be
I just like the idea of you've got like essentially the rank, whatever the rank we set up for, like gunnery sergeant, like that kind of rank. He's too old. He's like on the lines of being too old as well, like to be in. But they basically gave him the option of you can go where, like, he's like quite decorated. He's like more decorated than most of the officers that you see at this place, like sort of thing. And he'd be like, you could either take your severance pay. Maybe he was wounded or something. Like you can even take your pay to leave or go somewhere. And he chose to go there to try and whip shape into like the rubbish recruits.
He could be, and he could have got wounded
seriously.
He could be
like,
gravely
and he
wounded.
takes it super seriously, and because then you can have the whole arc of when everything actually goes to hell, and he could be like originally like is one of the people that downtrods your officer, and then he comes around and says, no, actually, I like your plans. You've actually got the balls to do some stuff. Let's go, win this war, sort of thing. Because you've got to have at least a few people with some, like, they can have other things wrong with them, either wounded, age, but they've got to be skillful for them to, recover from that misfit status, They could be misfit for other reason than just then lousy or they've done wrong, Just like an aging sergeant major, got a gammy knee, like really shouldn't be fighting, carries a shotgun everywhere, that kind of, well, not a shotgun in this period, but like,
well, the shotguns exist to be trench gun.
Yeah, trench gun.
Yeah.
Or like not even that, just refuses to use anything but a saber, like. Now I'm hopping onto We Were Soldiers, but you know where I'm going with that sort of thing. Like, not like We Were Soldiers level of you don't mess with that sergeant major, but like you've got to have your competence has got to come from rooted in somewhere,
Well, I'm thinking not sergeant major. I'm thinking a platoon sergeant. So he's actually
Yeah, it doesn't
he's
have to
actually
be
out
the
there.
top rank.
Platoon
It's just
sergeant.
someone to endear your main character to in terms of skill. But, like the first person to recognize it before anyone like majorly in command does. You need some people to believe in him, kind of thing,
Just give me a second here.
and change their tune early on. What did we call the platoon? Did we call platoon sergeant?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
it was between platoon sergeant and platoon sergeant or slash if they were not in like command of a platoon or platoon's position, they're a senior sergeant.
That's it, senior sergeant. Senior sergeant, yeah, it's a good rank for for that kind of character. Like still carrying his like whatever the rifle from the last war was, because he doesn't like anything else. that's two We Were Soldiers, but you know, it's that kind of guy, you know.
What do you think about this? Platoon Sergeant Jacob Combs.
Cones?
Combs. Like as in
Combs. Yeah, Combs.
Combs.
Yeah.
Which is I have a write up of a whole bunch of last names in various different areas.
A lot of, I mean, people would say it Combs, but also in the UK, I think would say it Coombs.
Either way.
But that's also double O as well at the same time.
Combs. Maybe he has a. Trying to think of something here.
One eye.
No, that's too stereotype. It's too stereotypical. He's missing a couple of fingers.
A couple of fingers, a couple of toes.
No, just a couple of fingers. He got there was an explosion or there was a mishap with something, and he lost a couple of fingers on his primary hand, and they just stuck him here because
Sergeant Three Fingers.
Well,
the only fingers he's got left allows him to swear at the enemy. And
I'll put this in here so I don't forget it. Missing a few. Save that. Back. So we got that at least. Oh wow, this music's been gone for a while. CK3 soundtrack. Apparently, it's only a half hour long. Is that all the music they have for CK3? Wow.
Yeah, it just loops. A lot of them are like loopable tracks. Like in each individual track, like loops really well.
We'll go CK2s. That's an hour long. That'll work. Makes sense that the CEO and a few other soldiers are good soldiers to keep things under control, Ryan says. In some ways, but historically as well, there have been postings in various militaries that are just the dregs that get posted there. They exist historically, and they're usually places that aren't important, so the powers that be don't really give a shit. They're just there. So,
and he could take up the post of something like quartermaster if you don't want him actually in a platoon.
No, we were just more talking about generally the.
I know. I'm thinking for this character.
Well, character will work out at some point, because I doubt there's going to be enough people deployed into the in this posting to actually like get a full garrison. It'll probably be a lot of people wear some hats.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to think of a way for the reason that Adler gets stuck there. But there's the probably is you just get stuck there by accident would be a great way of doing it. Because I'm thinking if
It
this
was there before it became the nothing place.
no
It was-
Adler's like brand new like to the army. He's 17.
Yes.
So or
Oh
he's
yeah,
18.
he's your Rourke character, correct?
Yeah. But actually, I was thinking of like if this ever becomes a series, actually, Kurz would be the continuity character, the throughput character, and one or two other characters would be kind of specific to each book. So Kurz would be the only point of view character that's maintained throughout every book. He just kind of gets deployed to different areas throughout this war. To experience other stories and stuff. Might be how I run it. If I ever get that far. Okay. So let's I'm trying to think of things to write down here. The problem is I have a lot of normally when I'm writing and stuff I don't have to do it in front of a camera, essentially. What this is, so it's... So, let's describe the entire novel in one sentence. Conflict and resolution. Premise. Let's see, this is the boring part, everybody. Does...
I get a copy of this photo to show you. It's can't grab that, I don't think. This is Pinterest, freaking Pinterest.
See, I'm bad at making a premise. Because you're supposed to, because a good premise for a novel is like one sentence that describes the whole novel, conflict and resolution.
Do you know your resolution yet?
Well, I want the revolution. Well, because the war's not going to end. In this thing, I want the Lion's Den to be this holdout along this mountain line that becomes a thorn in the side, and because of that, at one point they can break the enemy from the area, and they put him into a rout, and that is coupled with some other actions up north that push the enemy out, or at least back to the river line near the border's original area, and that sets up a potential next story being more focused along a static trench warfare, a la, northern France, World War One, whereas this is more Alpine front, Italy and Austria-Hungary kind of conflict. So the conflict is the fortress is it starts out as a nothing posting during the beginning of the war, and Adler just gets caught up in this. Folden is not supposed to start the war, but then they surprise attack over the border to try and take the fortress, and it doesn't fall, and then it just becomes a protracted conflict in this mountainous area that gets resolved through some, final battle, etc. That pushes them out, and that is kind of the tipping point for the first year of the war to stall the enemy in their advance. So that'd be the resolution. The thing is, I need to think of I guess but that's not one sentence. That's not a good premise. The premise should be short and concise.
In a fantasy great war.
Well, the thing what I have right now is I guess this is more like a summary. This would be like at the back of the book. A young orc boy gets swept up in a war and is placed in an out of the way assignment, only for it to become one of the most important in the war.
You've just done it.
Is that? I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
You doubt yourself too much, sir.
I doubt myself the correct amount.
You doubt yourself all of the time.
So that's an okay premise. I never really got this. A fabula.
I don't actually know what one of those is.
Yeah.
Is there a description of what it means?
Narration of the events sorted by their logical and chronological sequence is how it's described here. Fabula. I'm not sure this is used anywhere else. Can you Google this? Because I can't with all my windows up.
I guess that's helpful if you're doing something out of sequence, like.
I guess so. Yeah, if you're writing out a sequence.
If you're writing like a Bourne film, like
that, or like a
with all the freaking flashbacks. So okay, so I guess it's a timeline, like a timeline of the important events that you might cover in your conflict, like. What happened first? Independence, war, these wars thing. That person was born. Yada 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 yada. That's what I'd see it as from that description.
Right, and then there's also a section for narrative strands that I'll have to work out. Various arcs for characters. Yeah,
you just need to work your character arcs.
Yeah,
redemption arc. I mean, they're all kind of a redemption arc.
In a way. Could be a throughput of the novel, like a through theme.
Because, like...
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking... two main characters. I think I'm going to settle on that. Kurz and Charles. Or Adler and Martin are going to be two main characters. I don't think I'm going to go with a third. I think I'll settle on just the two. With a couple of, obviously, like single chapter or single section point of views.
Are you still going to go with the prologue point of view person?
I'll have a prologue with somebody with that. Like I'll have a couple of single point of view characters that don't get like reiterated. Because I definitely think the beginning of the chapter where the attack happens on the fort starts from the perspective of a Folden mountain troop who's getting everything ready. And then it kind of like morphs into maybe like Martin's point of view after that, where they're just talking, and that begins and then the combat kind of starts kind of as a setup. Kind of go through that. So that one's fine, and then obviously I can start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got that, and then the point of view. I still have to work out like the triggering event. That's the big one. Like what starts this war?
Assassination.
I was thinking that like that's very on the nose for World War I, but it kind of makes sense.
Hotel bombing.
Hotel bombing.
Hotel bombing. it was a hotel that was keeping had a number of dignitaries from Folden, and it was a hotel bombing at a hotel in the border region of Algon and the Great, what was it called? Greater Kingdom of what the British.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, because there was a like peace conference, not a peace conference, but like a world summit due to happen. Or maybe in what was the
The neutral.
yeah, in Lincoln. Was it Lincoln? It starts with Little Itch.
Little Itch.
It was like there was a
Yeah.
explosion in Little Itch, and it was traced back to an Algon, a branch of an Algon like revolutionary group that's trying to start revolutions in other nations,
Hmm.
and they're blaming the Algon government for not like cracking down on them.
Could work. Could work. Now, also, you got me thinking like how like you got me thinking like military strength and stuff like that for that war sim of this.
Oh no!
You got me thinking of it because I was just thinking like how many divisions would they have on the border with Pensilia, and how many Pensilian divisions would there be? I'm just kind of like working through that shit. Yeah. No.
Gotta
Okay.
plug those numbers.
Well, it would be you'd have to work out divisionary strength,
Mhm.
naval strength,
Population,
who's helping who.
population, technological advancements, old focuses. Like, what was one heavy on cavalry? Was one heavy on artillery? What's the doctrinal focus? It's a lot to think about.
And you have to divide this map into probably hexes.
Yep.
Probably hexes.
Hexadecimal squares.
It wouldn't be that hard. That's easy enough. Yeah. Okay. When do you got to go, by the way? Because you don't want to stay here longer.
Not yet.
Okay. You don't want to stay here
Not
as
yet.
long as you did last.
I've got I've got 45 minutes.
40 minutes. Okay.
I've got 45 minutes.
Hmm.
So at the hotel,
Well-
bombing at the hotel, at the
Well, one narrative strand I know I'm just going to name The War. Because that's a strand that's going to be going right through the novel. Let's have The War.
war.
War declared. Then see, this is a lot more anxiety about writing while streaming. I'm noticing. Second narrative
I
strand.
think you need to work out what the inciting incident is, though. Like, in terms
Well,
of the conflict.
In terms of the conflict, I like that idea that there was some sort of because they needed something that would have a lead up time.
Mhm.
Like an attempted assassination that didn't result in anything would definitely do it. Like if because there's a reason it's
to, like, what's it called? Extradite the people.
there's a
or
reason that World War I happened so quickly. It was also because it killed somebody. So there was an ultimatum that was very quick, so they could just like it could be done. But if there was, they'd have less of a casus belli. If nobody died in it, or at least no important people died. So I could definitely see a like Little Itch capital, Little Itch. There's an attempted bombing of at a trade summit between the whatever I'm gonna name the Pensilian Alliance, like with the Pensilia, Altria, the Galbian Federation, and with some representatives from Fulton, all there were bombed by an Algan hardline group who probably came from somewhere named near Wunster, which is the border town near Littleitch. I could definitely see Pensilia in their alliance saying Algan needs to, since they won't crack down on things, they need to present themselves for like military inspectors, that or some sort of like extradition order or something like that. Algan doesn't want to. They think they should be tried in their own courts, etc. And then it kind of descends over probably about 4 or 5 months of back and forth. Over that time, that's enough for Adler
maybe another attack as well of ramp to happen, like right as the catalyst, like 2 attacks.
I don't know if there'd be 2 attacks or like a secondary attack. I think it would just like descend diplomatically because of the hostility between the 2 like principal nations. And I think the reason that it starts as well is because Pensilia and its alliance, which is nominally just Altria, Galbian Federation, and Pensilia, know secretly that Fulden will come in on their side in the war, and that's not public knowledge. So that's also one of the reasons why it's like a big surprise that they get attacked in this fortress on the border, because they're not supposed to be in war. It kind of just goes down, and that gives, in like, the 4 or 5 month lead up time, gives Adler enough time to kind of join out of patriotism and then get some training and stuff and be kind of sent to the front, or at least get sent to the to his posting as like an acolyte or something, like a mage acolyte. And then it kind of just comes through that.
I've worked out how your mage guy can get sent to the.
Well, I just think he gets sent because he's an acolyte, so they would be the most junior of mage. So they get they get the postings of like not instantaneous messaging, but personal messages using teleportation, like circles essentially, in strategic areas. And he's just been given he's got to deliver messages, and one of the messages he delivers is to the fortress, and that's when war starts. And his original posting gets overrun because he would be like at Dalkia, which is like a border.
Like the tiling stone is now.
So he's kind of just stuck. He doesn't have any orders, and he just kind of gets stuck in this fortress. Not in it, but he just gets, like, he has no orders and nothing's coming out of command right now because they've got a lot more pressing concerns than figuring out where this mage is going to go. And the unit he was originally assigned to is gone, or at least doesn't, like, they don't know where they're at. So he's just kind of, all right, I'm here. And that's how he gets there. That's what I thought in my head, because I knew that, like, what'd you type, Ryan? Could the World Conference be held at the Sarajevo Hotel?
What was the gang? The Black Hand gang? What? No, that's RuneScape, I think. What was the gang?
It was the Black Hand.
Are they the Black Hand? The Black Hand gang's also RuneScape. I've got a feeling.
I'm pretty sure Black Hand is correct for the people that killed Franz Ferdinand.
Black Hand. Oh no, it's Black Hand Serbia. Yeah. Hang on, I've got. Is this RuneScape as well? No, it's the Black Arm gang in RuneScape. Okay.
Yeah. They go one step more.
They dipped their full arm in. More hardcore.
Yeah. Okay, so we got that as a.
Just like.
How do I name this? There's another narrative strand will be Martin's redemption. Would that be that one's?
Yeah.
I guess it's yeah. I guess that's how I could phrase it. Martin's. Okay. Oh, that's cool. Then I gotta think of. I gotta think of Kurz's strand. What's his strand? Could it be just his growth as a mage?
Finding himself in a world that's falling apart.
This summer.
One page. A young orc.
Half work.
A young half orc. With an innate
I'm
ability.
just thinking the total 90s, the camera shots and pans and colorscapes. Yeah, what is Kurz's narrative strand throughout the book? I'm thinking, because I'm going through my head. So he begins as just this kid, comes of age, and because he's not stooped in old tradition or expectations, he kind of just applies.
What did he do?
What would you ask?
What did your orc do before the war?
Lived with his parents. He's like 17 when he joins. But they have a bakery.
Oh, a baker.
Yeah, they have a bakery. So, bakery. Comes a mage. He joins to become a soldier. Becomes a mage because he's adept. He has the ability of mana manipulation. And acts like a mage until an inciting incident forces him to use his magical powers in a combat role atypical of a mage is expected to, and that kind of takes him down a track of becoming a combat mage, a new thing that doesn't exist in this world up until now. It's kind of my thought. So what is that? What is that as an arc? What is that as a strand, as a narrative strand? How do you describe that? How do you name that? It's just like Kurz's, because we got the war, Martin's redemption, and then Kurz's, maybe just Kurz's big growth as a mage. I think I'll just say that. I think that's just good.
Yeah, sorry, I'll be right back.
Mm-hmm.
Right, I actually need to go, so I will see you later. Good luck with the rest of your writing stream.
Yeah, well, I actually might just end it right here because I need to go get something to eat anyways because it's past lunchtime and I didn't eat anything when I woke up, so
Fair enough.
so I might go here, guys. That and also we got a lot of work done, so I think we'll call it here. That way Midge can go and not feel like he's leaving me alone. But yeah, thank you for joining me for the stream, and I'll see all of you in I guess the next one we got. Yeah, this is a pretty normal size stream, so yeah, I'll see you all in the next one. You have a good day.
See ya. Okay, I'll see you, Rich.